Hey guys, so promise should be the last one for the night. This is going to be my World of Warcraft one because apparently 9.2 there's a developer's preview, and judging by the like to dislike and some of the comments, um, bunch of nerds. Uh, Zareth Mortis, the workshop of the gods. First quest: gather 5 heavenly boar tusks. America of Warcraft. Um, I'm I'm here for the comments, and they do not disappoint. Just let the jailer win and get this all over with. Good thing YouTube is taking away the dislike count. That way Blizzard can pat themselves on their back for giving us garbage. Such diversity of employees. They have women who talk in Latino men. Amazing, Blizzard. So progressive. And the new content so original and intriguing. Seriously considering to renewing my sub. Lol, ridiculous. The community doesn't even need to roast them. They themselves do it better than anyone else. It's a tragedy, but sadly it's the truth. The Demon Hunter set looks terrible. The rest looks cool. Now, I haven't seen any of this. Go woke, get broke, or, you know. When you hire based on race and gender instead of talent, the quality goes down. This is the result. The moment when working with Blizzard was awesome. Now, random people are claiming they are developers. So sad. Can't wait to see this company fail again. /spit. So, it's a bit long. It's only 11 minutes, but, I mean, you guys have sat through longer with me, so. So this is the Eternity's End developer preview World of Warcraft Shadowlands. So, like I said, this is my first time seeing it. Apparently it was out because I heard Akalon talking about it. I think Bellular was talking about it. I'm like, I didn't even see it pop up in my feed. You know, I'm subscribed to the channel, and I didn't even see it pop up. So, I'm going to shut up. We're going to watch. And so, here we go.
Shadowlands story pulls together threads that started in Warcraft 3 and wove their way through many of our expansions. We approached it like a drama in 3 acts. Now, as the third and final act begins of the saga, we need to stop the jailer from reaching his ultimate goal, which is to rewrite the rules of reality. Eternity's End serves as the final chapter of one book of the Warcraft saga. The jailer has the advantage. He has seized the sigils of the leaders of the 4 covenants.
We see Sylvanas realize that she's been a pawn in the jailer's game this entire time, and she refuses to serve him, and she's taken prisoner.
The jailer is able to open a portal to who knows where, taking Anduin with him.
And the Primus had us take some time to retrieve some new sigils.
Now we have gathered our forces. We are working with the Primus to open our own gateway to pursue the jailer to this realm unlike any we've seen before.
The Primus opens a portal, and we come into this alien land. It's completely white, foggy. We're walking on water for some reason.
They can only make out some shapes, some figures there, some crazy devices and consoles.
Eventually, you make your way to a giant gate, and behind it lies Zareth Mortis.
Zareth Mortis was created by the first ones, and it is intended to create afterlives.
Think of it as being tucked away in the fabric of the Shadowlands itself. It's kind of the behind the scenes of these afterlives that we've journeyed to.
It's the land where the progenitors, the first ones who created all of the realms of the Shadowlands, this is their workshop.
They've created everything we've experienced in Azeroth and Shadowlands and even realms we haven't discovered yet.
So, I've said this numerous times, when it comes to Blizzard, there is no ill will towards the art team. They always produce the most gorgeous landscapes that they can. So when it comes to the game, no one is ever complaining about the landscapes, the zones, because they are always top notch, high quality, just beautiful places, even when they're dreary, and it just adds charm. And when you really look around and see the details that they'll put in, it adds to the beauty of it, knowing that these people truly care about these landscapes that they're building. So when it comes to zones and cinematics, never ever are people ever complaining about them. They are always on their A game, always top notch. When people complain about Blizzard, it's the storytelling, it's the dreary fucking stale leveling systems, or the systems that they put in place for every expansion now that just don't fucking work out. Droughts, patch droughts or content droughts where you're waiting a year and a half for new fucking content. That's what people are complaining about. The freaking locking people into place for 6 months by saying, oh yeah, we've got a new store mount. People are really tired of the whole mount thing. They have all these great, beautiful, unique mounts on in the store, but say you're a mythic raider and you get some fucking reskinned generic looking mount that you already have 4 of already. People are just tired of the fucking laziness. But landscapes, absolutely gorgeous. I mean, this looks, the fog is kind of weird because it makes it look like it's running on a computer that can't handle it, because that's what games do. They have that in place for, if you don't have a good setup or anything, they'll have fog for, the distance and everything, so it doesn't have trouble loading everything. But this is how it's supposed to look. It's supposed to be foggy and stuff like that. Just, it's got for some reason when things float, so gorgeous. When you got these floating shrubs or trees right here. It looks absolutely amazing. Kudos again to the team, because they are always on their A game, always top notch. I just wish the rest of Blizzard was this passionate about their work.
These first ones built the universe as far as we know, but their intentions or methods are completely unknown.
But of course, the Jailer's presence here is disrupting this process, and we're working to push back against the Jailer's forces and protect this place.
I think the artists have done a fantastic job, and I know they did a lot of research and they looked at a lot of real-life examples of very strange places in the real world.
As a team, we were really trying to make this place as alien as possible, so we really wanted to make everything feel completely unique and completely different. Our trees here are floating, we have stones that are floating, we even have the massive Forge of Afterlives that is floating in the center of the zone.
And true to its name, it's something that is kind of putting together a new afterlife to be sent out into the Shadowlands.
We have this water all around you because water is really the catalyst for any kind of creation.
It's actually unlike any other water that we've seen before. This is actually water that we can walk on. It almost creates like a threshold between Zereth Mortis and some other kind of more primordial space right below it. Everything you see in Zereth Mortis has a purpose, an intention behind it. For us, it was really important to find ways to convey that intention in the environment itself. And one of the ways in which we did it was through this duality between a lush and a dry biome. In the dry biome, we see perhaps what the original look of the zone was when the progenitors were first establishing this workspace for themselves. And in the lush biome, we see the result of their experimentation with plant life and fauna and things like that.
These are all test beds for what we'll eventually see elsewhere.
From there, we started thinking about what kinds of creatures would be in this place that are fundamentally prototypes. There's terraforming here. There's
Is that an axolotl? Please tell me hunters can tame them. I want a mechanical axolotl as a pet. I would just love that. Those things are adorable. And the frills on the side are the dead giveaway. Please tell me that's what it is, because that's what it looks like.
There's creatures that are building afterlives. We tried to really stretch and think what that might be like.
My personal favorite includes the giant armored snail, and we also have a progenitor chicken, which answers the question of what came first.
These first ones who crafted Zereth Mortis, what they left behind were the Automa, meant to take care of the place and make sure that it fulfilled its function to create afterlives.
The Automa have several different classes, and you can see this in their silhouettes. We have the Builders, we have the Protectors, we have the Casters, and each one of them have a specific role within the Shadowlands. And then you'll also discover the Jiro, which are a part of the Automa. They're a little more quirky, they have a little more personality. They are a little more sentient than the other Automa, so some of them even split off to pursue their own desires.
Unfortunately, when we found our way in, Devourers also found their way in. They are ravenous.
They're consuming this weird energy, and it's causing them to mutate and to fall apart.
And the Automa, where they are confronted by them, some of them are fighting them off.
And so it's going to take some time for them to understand that we're here trying to help them drive out this threat. Fortunately, we've got some allies. There are some enlightened brokers here that we're going to be working with.
But it's a broker that arrived here quite a long time ago and has had a change of heart from looking at the world as a very transactional place to seeing this place as a holy place, a sacred place. We meet an enlightened one named Fareem, and Fareem needs our assistance, and in return, he leads us to Haven,
which is a hub that has been created out of progenitor ruins, and this is where the Enlightened really have made their home.
Haven serves as our foothold here, as well as use it as a base of operations and really start unlocking the mysteries of this land.
The Enlightened brokers are intent on protecting and preserving the work of the first ones here, but now they're seeing Zoval bring his forces against the Automa and tear up the land, and they are eager for assistance.
The brokers themselves are very ostentatious, they're very into materialism, but the Enlightened are not that at all. They have relinquished this material way, and you'll see this reflected in their clothes. They're a little tattered, they're a little faded, because it just isn't important to them anymore. They're just here for the pursuit of knowledge.
When players arrive, they're kind of fishes out of water. And one of the first things that we have to do is start learning how to communicate with the Automa. Think of it as a kind of runic language, based in symbols.
We will bond with a small construct who's pretty cute, actually. And with his assistance and the assistance of Fareem, we will learn eventually how to understand the symbols through the cipher of the first ones.
We'll uncover different parts of this alphabet and start to learn more about the progenitors and Zereth Mortis itself.
It will allow you to unlock new and different forms of content. So that can range from daily quests to new options on the vendors to places to explore and new side quests that open up. So it's really the gateway to exploring the far reaches of Zereth Mortis.
As we looked into the development of Cypher of the first ones, we wanted something that was unique that players haven't seen before. A little bit of familiarity, but something that takes that to the next level.
We really involved the whole team in this creative process. We worked with our UI team to be able to represent those through text, through these things talking and seeing them on screen in chat bubbles and in our chat window. Little by little, these kind of runes start taking shape into words that we recognize. But it's going to be a process that unfolds over the course of playing through Eternity's End. The Automa speak in this kind of musical language. They don't talk the way that we mortals are used to speaking. The sound team was super excited. They jumped in, they started prototyping all kinds of different sounds. We listened, we gave feedback, and we really ended up in a cool place. As you're playing through and gradually unlocking the language, you'll be able to see those words that they're saying, but still hear those tones. The jailer's true goal has never really been to escape the Maw or to gain power. He's been focused on reaching this place called the Sepulchre, to go into this place of power and to really rewrite the rules of the universe. We'll learn that the jailer has breached the Sepulchre of the first ones, and this becomes our new raid for Eternity's End. We're going to gather our forces. We're going to pursue the jailer inside. Once you go inside the sepulcher, there's some mind-blowing visuals. This is a place that should not be able to exist according to the laws of physics as we know them on Azeroth. Just looking out into this impossible sky of seeing these ancient works of the first ones, those laws don't apply to anything we see here.
Among the bosses that we're going to face in Sepulchre of the First Ones include the Jailer's forces, maybe a Dreadlord or two that you haven't tied up loose ends with. We'll face a Consular. This is similar to a being like Algalon, but the Jailer's gotten to it and has infused his domination magic into the Consular. Before we get to the Jailer, however, we need to get to Anduin first. Our hope is that we can learn whatever Anduin knows about domination magic. We need to be able to resist it, or better yet, fight it.
So that's really cool that we know for a fact we're going to be fighting Anduin, and a lot of people, and I think even I said myself said that we were going to be fighting Anduin the next patch, because he's been pretty much taken over completely by the Jailer. So to know that we are in fact going to fight him, and we've got the help, we've got Uther there, we've got Jaina there, we've got good help. I know Uther really is definitely going to want to help, and he might have a big role to play. He said Dreadlord. Is it who is the Dreadlord? Because I haven't played through the entire thing. I just leveled and really wasn't doing the main story. I pretty much, once I hit max level, I stopped. It's Mal'Ganis, isn't it? So the guy just keeps coming back for more. But it's good to know that we're going to be fighting Anduin, and it's going to be most likely one of the scenarios where we just snap him out of it. He's like, "I'm sorry, champion. I don't know what happened. I lost control of myself due to the domination magic. I wasn't myself, and I had to do all these terrible things. Thank you for setting me straight," or some crap like that. And then he's going to tell us like this, the secret of the domination magic. And I have to say, that sword right there, that's fucking cool looking. It's so simple, but it's very astral looking. I mean, is that one we can get now? Like, I haven't played Shadowlands since it released, so I leveled up, and that was it. But, yeah, it's cool to know Anduin's going to be a boss.
We need to get to Anduin first, to be able to resist it, or better yet, fight it.
We know players have been waiting a long time for the return of tier sets, and as devs, we have too.
It's a great blend of progenitor magic, golds, and metals, along with those class-defining silhouettes, wolves for shamans, pointy things for rogues. It's going to look amazing.
Our class and combat team was super excited to bring class sets back. This is something that felt really right for the story. We're in the final act of the Shadowlands saga. We're here literally on the brink at eternity's end, and what better place to fully unleash the power of these classes? And I think players will really enjoy the return of those class sets just as much as the team enjoyed making them.
How do you make something that is mystical and magical and incomprehensible and yet understandable? I think we've done a good job of finding that line.
The team as a whole has been working so hard, and we are so excited to get this out for everyone.
We're gonna get new mounts, new pets.
A bit horrifying for me, but exciting for some is the fact that, some of the spider mounts can now fly. Who needs flying spiders? But that's also going to be a cool thing for people.
We have updates to professions, to soulbinds, to conduits. There's a new dancing minigame in Darkmoon Fair.
I'm a story guy, so I'm super geeked about watching players kind of piece together those little lore tidbits. That's what excites me as well.
I'm really looking forward to Season 3 of Mythic Plus. Tazavesh is getting split into 2 dungeons. If you're a raider, if you chase Keystone Master, if you're an achievement collector, there's something for everyone to do in this.
Shadowlands is like the final chapter of one book of the Warcraft saga, and our team is already hard at work on the next stories to come. Can't talk about them quite yet, but when the time is right, we're going to be really excited to share them with you.
Learn more at worldofwarcraft.com. Okay, so as I was saying before, that snail is really cute. It really is. Yeah, even something as like this, where it's almost all the same color. There's so much gold though, and so much contrast to the sand color. To the sand, that light brown, and you have it like a darker. You have gold, and you have these greens to break up just the contrast between them. Otherwise, it would all look the same. You have these giant spheres floating around. So even when it's a zone like this, these guys, look at this. It's still gorgeous. You got these things floating. You have even the colors of, like, look at the spiders right here. Even them, it's the contrast between the spiders. I mean, everything could be the same color, but just the fact that the tips of their legs are white, so you can separate the sand from the monster there. In the background, you can still see gold, and but this, this is absolutely gorgeous. And the fog's supposed to be there. You have like these giant orbs that are being covered with like moss and stuff like that. And I think, it's like I said, the team, the ones who were in charge of landscapes and all that, absolutely gorgeous. I've said this before. The first time I went through Crystal Song Forest and Wrath of the Lich King, my computer wasn't even that great. There was fog everywhere, but it was the most stunning thing I've ever seen. And up until this, even now, there is nothing quite like Crystal Song Forest. It is fucking gorgeous. And then you have Ardenweald, same thing, absolutely amazing. Just it's a lot of blues, but it's different shades of blues, and you have some bright colors in there to separate. Even something like Dread Wastes back in Mists of Pandaria, despite how dreary it looked, some of it was absolutely amazing. I mean, the whole zone is beautiful. Like like I said, sometimes it's not the visuals as a whole. Sometimes it's little things that they do. I think really people, like the first zone, people were really like, oh my God, was Nagrand. I mean, you step into, throughout BC, you're going through this world that's been broken and shattered, and everything is just not what it seems. You're in Hellfire Peninsula, which is all just, broken rocks, and, it's all like this reddish color. Zangamarsh, which slowed down a lot of people's computers because of how much shit was there, because of all the giant mushrooms. You had Netherstorm, you had, places like that where it was broken. But then you go to Nagrand, and while, yes, it was broken, it was lush, it was green. You had islands floating in the sky with trees and waterfalls. It was just amazing. Even now, you go back there, you're like, this is really, really beautiful. So they always nail it with the scenery. Absolutely amazing, as usual. That looks really cool. And you gotta admit, these little guys, like this little guy right there, they are pretty cute. Each one got like covered in moss and got the foliage covering it like it's been there for a while. The jailer, is the sepulcher, we're actually fighting the jailer as last boss. Are we gonna kill him? Because this dude is like super powered right now. How do we kill something that's that super powered? We couldn't even beat him when he was regular jailer, without the armor. And then he gets the sigils and transforms in this fucking behemoth. How do we fight him then? And then after him, he's already one of the most powerful beings. I mean, he's the one who was the arbiter. He was the original. How do you fight something that powerful? And then what comes after him? And if we're going back to Azeroth, what can be more powerful than this dude? That's the problem I have with this whole, cosmological scaling thing. It's like when we were just travelers, we were fighting smaller things. Now we're fighting gods. How long before it, something, whoever is after this has to be even more powerful? How do we beat them? Like, we just keep getting somehow magical items that just appear, it's ridiculous at this point. That's why people are having a problem with the story, because it's just getting sloppy now. It's like, oh yeah, the Sepulchre is the only place that, has the knowledge and power to beat someone like that, because it's the where they created everything and blah blah blah. It's like, okay, well then, if this dude is that powerful, what comes after him? It would have to be even stronger. And what, we're gonna get some fucking magical axe or some enchanted arrows and have to defeat the next guy with those? I mean, come on. When does it stop? That's what people are having a problem with. It's getting over. It's just over the top now. But that's pretty cool. It's like Algalon, but it turned to the dark side. That looks pretty dope, though. Anduin, not gonna lie, that looks pretty dope. His armor and all that. Progenitor. Honestly, the sets in the concept, like that one, that is absolutely gorgeous. That's what is that the druid or the hunter? I mean, that could be the hunter right there. Usually when it comes to hunters and druids, they both have animalistic ones. That's like an eagle. And then we've got a wolf type look there. But that one, absolutely fucking gorgeous. That is amazing. Oh, this one's pretty cool. That must be... Is that the Demon Hunter one? It looks very Demon Hunter-esque. But then you see what they really look like, and they're just like, they just look like some generic PvP sets or something. But, absolutely gorgeous. Like I said, I can't say anything bad about the landscapes or anything, because... But this looks really different. Seraph Mortis. Let me go back to the Sepulchre. Yeah, this looks completely... It looks very much like an Old War type situation, which I hope that's what it's like. I hope this becomes like the modern Old War, because Old War is still regarded as one of the best, if not the best, raid in the history of WoW. So I hope, it's dealing with the old ones or the first ones. You got all this cool tech, just like Old War had. So I want this to be like Old War 2.0, where it goes down in history as one of the best raids ever. I mean, if this is the raid where we're fighting the big bad jailer, it needs to be epic. Every fight needs to be fresh and epic and just something that you may not have experienced. I mean, we're fighting characters, like I said, I think it was Mal'Ganis. He's been around for ages, since Warcraft 3. This guy just doesn't fucking go away. We're fighting the jailer. We're fighting Anduin. So some big names here. It needs to be epic. So, the scale needs to just... That's how high they need to make it like Old War or any other of the great raids that people are very fond of. If this is going to be the last raid of the expansion, and if it's going to be shit, you're going to have some very, 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 very pissed off fans. And those are the people who are going to be like, you know what? Fuck you, Blizzard. They're going to leave because this is what they look forward to. This end game content, the raid, the end of the story. This is what they look forward to. And if you fuck it up, a lot of people, I mean, the numbers are already low. You may not get these people back. So this has to blow their fucking asses off. They need to get up to the jailer and have the greatest time of their lives, saying like, this was one of the hardest ones in history, but it was fun. And the cinematic afterwards, just my fucking, I mean, it was so fucking amazing. And just, you know, I all over my computer screen because of how fucking amazing it was. My balls fucking exploded from excitement. But if it does not blow people away, because look at Ny'alotha, the last raid of Battle for Azeroth. It was a little lackluster to say the least. It was very Return of the King-esque. This whole big bad old god that we've been hearing about for 10 years being defeated in one raid. And people were like, so we beat N'Zoth with a fucking Kamehameha? I mean, what? And people were pissed. In fact, they were so pissed that, if I remember right, Blizzard privated the video because of how much backlash they were getting from it. So, this is the last raid of Shadowlands. It better blow fucking people's balls off. And if they don't have balls, you want it to be so good that they're going to want to wish they had balls just so it can blow them off. So Blizzard has a huge, huge shoes to fill this time around because people are tired of the bullshit. So if they don't do it right this time, I mean, people's patience is dwindling at this point. You know, a lot of us have been patient, and like I said, I'm never going to stop playing WoW. I'm always going to play it in some form. If it's not retail, I always have Ascension. We have Revelation WoW that came out. That was open beta. It's offline now because it was just open beta, but I'll be playing that. There's actually a Naruto type one that I've been trying to download, but the download isn't working. So I'll always have World of Warcraft to play in some form if I don't play Detail. But people are getting pissed off at Blizzard between their poor management, the whole allegations that have been going around. So the patience is wearing thin, to say the least. And this may, I mean, people say it every expansion. This may be Blizzard's last chance. No, I think this is really where people have had it. So if this point, because even I've said in the past, like, oh yeah, this is going to be the expansion. But if you look at every expansion, the player base is just getting more and more pissed off. So we do have a breaking point. And between all the shit that's been going on internally at Blizzard to the just non-transparency that they have, to the just boring designs for some of the systems and this and that, people are just not going to take it anymore. They'll be like, we'll just go play Final Fantasy then. Just like everyone else. I think Asmon Gold's left for, Final Fantasy 14. Plenty of people are leaving for Final Fantasy because it knows what it's doing. It knows how to draw players in. It knows how to keep them satisfied. So, but the only good thing I have to say about it is just it looks gorgeous. You know, I'm not going to resub just for something looking gorgeous. I'll probably wait and hear what people have to say about it. I mean, oh, John, that's stupid. You shouldn't. You should just experience it yourself. True, but if enough people are saying, "Oh yeah, don't fucking bother," you know, the system and this and that, because normally when enough people are saying it, it must be for a reason. You know, I know some people will say things just to, you know, spite Blizzard, but you know, I'm not gonna waste $15 that I may or may not have to resub to a game that it's like, okay, well, I tried it, and I wish I hadn't spent that $15. So, but anyways, let me know what you guys think. Are you looking, if you're playing, are you looking forward to this now? Are you looking forward to beating the Jailer? Where do you think we're going to go after the Jailer? Like I said, we could barely beat the guy as he was when we first started. Now he's super powered. What comes after him? You know, it's like, okay, you fight God himself. What comes after God himself? Like, what could possibly stand in your way after that? I don't get the power scaling in this game anymore. I don't get why we can't just be travelers and heroes. We've got to be fucking the chosen ones and slayer of the fucking, you know, death. And I don't get it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.